Attention crew, it's time to make it so. Reporting for duty are your fearless co-hosts, Crewman PVG, bringing the logic, Crewman Mgyx, keeping it bold, and Crewman Tommy, ready with the photon torpedo of hot takes. From classic episodes to new frontiers, Klingon phrases to Starfleet trivia, no quadrant is off limits. So grab your tricorder, set your phasers to fun, and prepare for another warp speed ride through the final frontier. This is Technically Trek.
Laying a course, maximum warp.
Aye, Captain.
Engage.
Over there.
Yo, what up, fam? Star Trek fam, Trekkies.
I need to put my badge on. I need my comm badge.
Oh man, you are not repping. Welcome to Technically Trek. We're live.
He's got Homie the Clown.
At least if you're watching Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, we're live.
I'm gonna be command level just like everybody else. I got picked.
Man. Welcome everybody. And I do want to just give a quick shout out of gratitude for our last episode. We have gotten some good traction on viewership. I mean, we have about 40 some subscribers. So to get over 900 views, we're pretty ecstatic about that. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
Much appreciated.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Peoples of the Trekverse.
Yes. And so...
and unpeople from the Trekverse.
Oh, by the way, I'm Crewman Tommy. This is Crewman PVG. And in the middle, Crewman Mgyx.
Crewman Homie. I was on shore leave and I got called back in. That's my. I was at a '90s convention.
Right, he was doing
classic.
A time.
Homie the Clown.
We had to send him back in time to the '90s on a mission.
Yeah, and they caught me. I was at early '90s Comic-Con, and I was trying to represent Homie the Clown, so I didn't disrupt, the time flow thing. So I got pulled back just in time for the show. It was an awesome time. I got to meet Jim Carrey. He's a funny dude, funny guy. There's no reason why, I totally see why he won the cat. Oh, you're not supposed to know that. My bad. I didn't say nothing.
He reminds me of New Kirk. Strange New Worlds Kirk.
A little bit.
Like a
Jim Carrey?
Young Jim Carrey.
He reminds me of, is it Axonar? There's a fan fiction. Star Trek Continues. He really reminds me of that Kirk from that show. If people aren't aware, there is a lot of fan productions out there for Star Trek that are continuing on. Obviously, way back in the early mid '90s, because I think it was around the time The Matrix came out. A lot of people started. Making these you got fan fiction books. Obviously, you got fan clubs, and now you have back then, you had true podcasts, which were just audio. We are a new podcast, which is a YouTube video. But yeah, there's a lot of fan fiction productions out there that are reaching some very high quality standards now.
Yeah, they're good.
And they're pulling in guest stars from the original cast. I think Star Trek Axonar or Axonar.
You're having a hard time with that word.
Axonar.
Axonar, thank you.
Yep.
That's one that pulls in Chekhov, Walter Cohen. I believe Uhura is also in that one as well. Nichelle Nichols before she passed. But there's a lot of them. And I am waiting, actually, and I think there are some new ones that are coming out that have the TNG cast, but it's not as big because it's still too soon. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like it was only a couple years ago that we were watching TNG, or that we were wrapping up,
ago.
I mean, it feels. I mean, hey,
Like
there's
40
days
years.
Do you
where I'm
think
like,
they're allowed to do that? Like, do you think they could bring in like somebody, not like a main character, but like a side character? I don't know, like who's
Seska.
who?
Seska from Voyager.
Yeah. So, do you think that those people are allowed to be in fan fictions?
I don't see why not, because you already have other people, and I want to say Leonard Nimoy was in one as well, but it wasn't as big. I don't think there's any contract as long as you're not under contract to be in any like officially licensed productions. It's not like work where you're like, oh, you by quitting, you're agreeing that you'll never work in this industry for the next 5 years or next 10 years. I don't think they have that kind of clause. So I think they can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah,
But I just don't see any, like, I don't see Jonathan Frakes or Patrick Stewart, or I don't see any of the TNG cast really playing in any of these productions anytime soon, because I think it's too soon to have them featured, because you still have new productions where you have these people are involved. I mean, shit. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? Season 3 of Picard, you had all of the TNG cast in there. So I don't think you could, I don't think you can compete with, because they were literally in production of Picard, Discovery. Was it Discovery that did the flashback? I think it was Discovery. With that, I think if you're in an official Paramount or Desilu, whatever it is now, I think it's now just all under Paramount. I don't think you can be in any kind of fan production, but afterwards, I think you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, if your contract's up and if you don't have any like
stipulations.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we just watched episode 8 of season 1 of the animated series from 1970 something.
That was a difficult watch. I cannot lie.
The Magics of something 2. I forgot the name of the episode already.
Even had my name in it, and it was hard to watch.
Yeah, it's this one is the one that had a character named Lucian, who I'm guessing is supposed to be Lucifer. He looked like the devil, which is kind of a weird mix where they would have the devil mixed in with like the Salem warlocks, I guess they are. And
I could kind of, no, maybe not.
I mean, if they were so powerful, what I don't get is how could these people get bullied being so powerful? Like the Enterprise could not stand up to them. The Enterprise, and now you're talking about people from the 16th century were bullying these warlocks or this alien race, I guess, that happened to live on Earth back then. I mean, that doesn't really make sense to me.
I would not be surprised if this was not an offshoot or a descendant. Is it descendant the right word? Of the Q.
They
like
seem
a second
like it.
cousin.
Yeah. Like
I mean,
a continuum.
If you add in Trelane and everybody else, it's like, all right, these are all these omnipresent beings that are so powerful, yet they're getting bullied by ants, essentially.
Right.
And maybe it's because they are so naive that to allow it to happen, and until it gets to the era of Q, in TNG, and he's like, nah, ooh, that would be a good reason why they put Picard back on trial.
So you're saying
the trial never did end. It never ended with Kirk. Picard carried on Kirk's trial.
So you're saying the Q, the continuum at one point were non-violent and soft-spoken people, and then they got bullied by normal people like us, humans.
They got taken advantage of because they were so naive, because we were so, non-threatening.
Like genies.
But then we abused their trust and everything else and tricked them verbally into doing things and taking advantage of them. And that would definitely fall under the Q trial, Oh, you say you've changed? Because they literally just said at the end of this episode, this was a test to see if you've changed. And that's exactly what Q did. hey, I want to see if these motherfuckers change. But we didn't.
But at some point, like, you're omnipotent, you're all powerful, and you're being mistreated by an ant. Can the ant hurt you?
If the ant tricks you.
Into what? Hurting each other?
Hurting each other.
I'd be interested into understanding how humans could have done anything harmful to this race of omnipotent aliens.
A great example is the Winter Soldier, or what's the one where Captain America fights Iron Man after he finds out that Bucky killed his parents, and they have the other guy off
Civil
the Civil
War?
Black Panther, and he's like, I knew I could not destroy them, but I knew I could make them destroy themselves.
Maybe.
Same thing, and look at what Pike does. You know, when he
but
gets
you're talking
captured by
about
the
a very
Orions.
smart person in today's era.
No. I'm talking about Pike did this as well, because Pike did it with the Orions. He got captured, and he slowly started turning the crew against each other. He couldn't break out. He couldn't defeat them, but if he tricked a couple of them to fight, to sow dissent amongst the ranks, now they're fighting each other. And there's always that little bit of, oh, I don't think he would do that, but there was that one time. There's always that little sense of doubt. Every being has a little bit of sense of doubt about something. So Pike did it. Kirk's done it. Obviously, Nevo, whatever the dude from Civil War is, he did it. So yeah, this could be humans can do that.
Yeah, but you're saying but it's the Avengers are not omnipotent beings.
All right, I'll put it in reality then. That is what happens every season on Big Brother and Survivor. That is the whole point of those shows.
Are normal people. All right, let me ask you this.
These are aha. You just said those are normal people. We ain't Starfleet. We went past those tests, and you yourself just said those are normal people who can deceive other people. You're telling me somebody from Starfleet that is a normal person, but a higher education, doesn't have that ability to manipulate other people as well?
No, they do. But I'm saying people from the 1600s. Do you think
I've done it?
When I think about people from the 1600s, I think of a lower IQ brand of people.
You think of the lower IQ from a scientific or educational point of view. Manipulating other people has been around for eons. Look at religion. Look at the Salem witch projects. Oh, that lady over there is a witch. I saw her sprinkle white powder on her floor and then do something, when all she did was she spilled some flour on a cabinet and she brushed it off. Oh no, but she's a witch because she did that. That's manipulation. Humans have been doing that forever. So yeah, somebody from the 1600s, totally. And you ain't got shit else to do? We got mechanical shit, scientific shit, entertainment shit to occupy our times. Motherfuckers in the 1600s ain't got shit to do.
Well, they got to survive. They got to find food.
No,
they got to go do crops.
That. You got a root cellar. You got, oh yeah. There you go. Well, how come I hear he doesn't have to work on the crops as much as somebody else does. He must be carrying favor from somebody. I'm not saying I do that, but obviously he has to be doing something that's sowing the seeds of doubt, dissent. How come he's got to do extra guard duty on the root cellar?
So you're saying, your position is humans from the 1600s could have manipulated continuum, and
if they were that naive, most certainly. And
now,
mind you, it's not just humans, because they didn't specify it was just humans. They said we've been tricked before. It could have been talking about Vulcans pre-logic.
All right, well, how many times do you get tricked before you stop getting tricked?
However long it takes for you to not, look at tricks. Trick every night, and they get tricked. Yet they go out, they're going to be out tomorrow night tricking.
Not that
if
kind of trick.
You know.
Not that kind.
No, I'm saying they may not. I think it's going to be they're gonna keep going as long as until they put their foot down.
All right.
I mean, that's just it.
It seems like they're always giving the humans a test. You know, are we going to pass it? And we always pass it. I'm thinking, who are you guys to even give us a test?
I'll give a great example, and this is going to be a quote. Tell me who said it. What does a god need with a starship?
Oh yeah, Kirk. And the
You have an omnipotent being. What does a god need? What does God need with a starship?
well,
And it's that questioning. That's the point of manipulation and doubt. That if that guy, let's say that guy from, shit, I just went out of focus. What was the one with Cybok and the god? Oh,
the Great
Beyond.
Barrier.
It's the Great Barrier, but I forgot what the actual title of the movie is. Not The Search for Spock.
Final Frontier.
No, that's the one with the Klingons, which I think is still one of the better OG movies. It's the one in the middle, The Final Frontier, I think. No, that's not it. I just said that.
Frontier.
Anyway, it's the movie with Cybok where they go to the Great Beyond.
Right.
And maybe it is A Search for Spock. No, because their Enterprise gets destroyed in that. I would have to go to my Paramount thing to take a look at it. Nope, I know what it is. Undiscovered Country.
No, that's with Klingons.
Then it's The Final Frontier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's either so then it's The Final Frontier. Shit, I forgot where I was going with that whole point.
All right.
Next.
But so that right there is, if that being is one of these omnipresent people, and he's been hell, that could have been Lucian. He could have been banished away, and they just flipped the script.
But think about this: the way they manhandled the Enterprise, right? So they left Earth to find a new planet to live on, which is where they ended up. But why not banish humans? Like, so once you realize you're being bullied, then you all get up and leave. But you're powerful enough to evict everybody on Earth or punish them.
What if that's what they did? We talked about this before. Why has no other race come across Earth? I mean, Klingons have Protocol 1, but who's to say the Romulans don't have that, or the Klingons don't have that? Maybe Earth was banished and put aside and put in the backwaters until they were smart enough to figure out faster than light travel. Maybe that's why no one ever came across us. Maybe because we fucked around and now we found out. You never know.
So the continuum could have flicked Earth into the Zeta Quadrant that doesn't even exist yet.
Which somehow became Sector 001.
Well, and then once they evolved, then they brought them back. Maybe after World War III, the continuum flicked them back to normal, Alpha Quadrant.
I think it's more like they flicked us away and left us there until we got our shit together, got faster than light travel, and started making contact. And then used our manipulation. Here's a great point. Aha. Used our manipulation to say, hey, we're Sector 001. Everybody cool with that, right? This is the Alpha Quadrant.
There's a YouTube video that came out today. It's from this guy, and I'll have to go find his name. But he basically was talking about how Star Trek portrays humanity as good, except in some cases on an individual level, they portray humans individually as possibly bad. But
definitely.
My question is, okay, so we know the story of, I guess like World War III happens, and then Zephyr Cochrane happens, And then, then everything leads up into what becomes the Star Trek universe. And then the whole thing with no money, it's hard to think about it right now because our planet's in turmoil, but is this reality? Could this really happen? Like, could money go away?
Yes. I totally see.
And why would World War III? Because to me,
why.
World War
That's what would
III.
lead it.
So basically, a lot of people would have to, more than half. I would say 75% of the population gets destroyed.
35%.
Okay, so 35% of the population's destroyed. Now there's resources for everybody.
And now so I used to not be able to think about, how that would happen. And then after COVID happened and a bunch of things, it started adding up. And I used to say the only way this world's going to come together where we're going to reach the aspect of Star Trek level is going to be either a global disaster, like a global pandemic like COVID, or alien.
That did not bring anybody together.
It did for a short time, but it didn't follow through, or somebody fucked it up.
I think it separated everybody because you had to be locked away. You had to
It did, but people were dying left and right still. I think that was just the first part of it. There's supposed to be a new COVID coming out. That's supposed to be more contagious than the other one. But it was basically a global pandemic or global pandemic or natural disaster. Like perfect storm across the entire planet.
A natural disaster is more plausible to me. What about or an alien invasion? That would bring us together.
Right. So I personally foresee, and I thought about this. I was like, you know what? It could start with a plague or a pandemic, which would then have an effect on the weather. Because with COVID, it had an effect on the weather. So like if you lived in Phoenix, the Phoenix smog cloud. After 3 weeks of COVID and being in shelter in place, that cloud was gone. I drove in Tucson. The Tucson cloud was gone. Air quality got way better. Breezes that normally aren't there were there. So the lack of traffic and flights definitely had an effect on the weather. Now, if that weather goes a little too much, gets a little back into its natural aspect of things, and causes a polar shift, like in the day after tomorrow, that could definitely lead to people coming together as a whole. Just like in the day after tomorrow, everybody's going to, we're trying to deport people back into Mexico. And in the day after tomorrow, they're like, hey, we all need to get into Mexico because now we're basically the Antarctic. So I definitely see something like that leading to everyone saying, you know what, we need to put away our differences, because if I don't help you, you're going to die. If you don't help me, I'm going to die. We all have to help each other. That sounds like a COVID-19 commercial. We're in this together.
It sounds like that cartoon commercials. We got to separate our differences.
Right.
Except that's a little racist cartoon.
So awesome. Sherry mentioned in the chat, not sure it would. I think people would go into self-preservation mode and not help each other. You're right, Sherry. And unfortunately, you're going to have that. I'm talking about on a much larger scale. I remember when COVID was happening before I went into the hospital, our condo complex, people were helping people out. There were elderly people, and some of the younger groups were going into grocery stores for them and doing things like that. You're going to have tiny little communities, which I'm sure, you guys would probably do something like that in your area. You and PBG and your surrounding neighbors, you're in a smaller community. But I'm talking downtown Phoenix, ain't nobody giving a fuck. Tempe, ain't nobody giving a fuck. Probably nobody giving a fuck like that. What I mean by is on a global scale. The United States is going to be like, hey, Canada, we're neighbors. You got oil. We don't have it because we can't get over there. You had oil. We need that. We have food production and other things. You need that. We need to work together. We need to come together as neighbors. you know what? We can even do it better if we include Mexico because we're all on the continent. Now it's not the United States and Mexico and Canada. Now it's North America. And then you can then leave that to, hey, South America, we see you're struggling. You got the pathway. You got Guatemala Canal. Hey, let's all get together. You got stuff we need. We got stuff you need. Let's work together.
So you would use a bartering system.
You would use a bartering system, but the underlying aspect is eventually everybody's going to be working together, kind of like how it is now, but it's not going to be on a money system where, you know, the United States owes $500 quadrillion to China, who's just holding it over our head to be recalled at any time. It's going to be, hey, you have this thing, we have this thing, you need it for your people to live, we need that for our people to live. Let's work together. None of this old school bullshit that, you know, the OG governments did like in the 50s and 60s and George Washington, all that shit. No, this is a new day. We're doing communal. And you get together. You know, obviously you're going to police your people. We're going to police our people. You know, and at that point, you could literally rebuild how the world works if you eliminate the greed aspect out of things. Well, and that's why Starfleet doesn't really have money. You do it on the credit.
This video that I'm talking about, and I was actually watching it while I was in the shower, so I only got to see like I didn't see. I was listening to him talk because I didn't. You know, it was mostly a talking.
What kind of shower you got? Where you got a
phone.
TV in the shower?
My phone's waterproof, man. iPhone 16.
I mean, so is mine.
But he's he's got a good point. He on YouTube, he's Rowan J. Coleman. Shout out to Rowan J. Coleman. But he's basically saying Star Trek is based on humanity is better in this future world, but it doesn't really tell you how they get better. They just say you just get better. You just have to be better. And to me, that's not realistic. Like, especially when we look at where we're at right now, and Enterprise.
But you don't want to see that.
Enterprise takes place, what, like 100 years from now? 2150 era. So in 100 years, humanity is supposed to flip-flop and change from how humanity has acted for thousands of years, you know, using money and people wanting power and all this stuff. And I mean, there's been world wars, right? I guess there's been different world wars. And so now all of a sudden World War III is going to be what says, you know, humanity must now get better.
Well, I mean, there's probably 3 points of this. First point is you don't want to watch that. You already said you don't want to watch that. You don't want a show about that. You want something new and in the future. Right. I, however, would like to see how humanity got better and started Starfleet. We already know how they started, a United Federation of Planets. That's kind of known. But how did they start Starfleet? How did we get over the World War? How did we get rid of poverty and all that other shit? And the other thing is, like you said, there are other world wars. The World War may be the catalyst that caused it. It could have started out as a regular skirmish.
We're now better.
And then, yeah, but what I'm saying is it started as a regular skirmish, as a regular war, like we have one in Iraq or whatever. And then all it takes is somebody to drop a nuclear bomb. And then another person does it, and another to retaliate, because that's what would happen now. If someone dropped a nuke now as a tactical attack, aggression, somebody else is going to react, and another person is going to react, and then their neighbor is going to react, and that's going to be World War III.
What's that show that we were watching? It was called like Station 11 or something like that?
Station 11.
The world doesn't get better after World War III. You know what happens?
Not immediately.
People have to like scrounge, and people become pirates and looters and robbers.
That's what's going to happen until you start getting what is the one?
Like they make it
Revolution is
Star
another
Trek
show.
makes it sound like after World War III, there's like this magic thing that happens, and now everybody just says, you know what, let's all be friends. Now let's all just, you don't have to pay me for anything. I'm just going to bake bread and give you a couple rolls every day. If you have something to give me, then that's cool. If not, it doesn't matter.
Wait a minute. If you give me a couple rolls, I'm not going to give you a barrel of oil. I'm going to give you a couple of quarts of oil, unless you really give me more than a couple of rolls.
Right now, you're looking at it on the aspect of the small scale. So there was a TV show called Revolution that was on. I don't know if any of you watched that. Where basically an EMP takes off the world. Kind of like The Last Ship. Takes off the world. On a small scale, yeah, Tom could give you a couple of loaves of bread. You could give him a couple of quarts of oil. Symbiotic relationship. But on a much larger scale, Illinois could be like, hey, we got all the bakeries. We'll give you food. We need oil. You give us barrels of oil.
In reality, there's no large scale. It's just like Sherry said. Everybody goes in for themselves. Once you go into what's it called? End of the world. Once you're in a post-apocalyptic situation, there is no more big scale, right? The state of Illinois doesn't exist. The United States doesn't exist. All that exists is you trying to feed your family or feed yourself.
Or on your own.
That's the small scale.
But that's all there is small scale. There is no big scale.
No, that's because you're not looking beyond that. So in this scenario, we already know it happens. What I'm saying is fill in the gap. Yes, it's going to be that way for maybe 100 some odd years. Okay. And then eventually you're going to have people that are going to organize and get together. And they're going to start doing families and families. Hell, it could be that way right now for 100 years, but then your kids are like, well, I can't marry my sister. I need to go find a neighbor. And then you're going to have families marrying into other families. Why wouldn't
it just go back to the way it is now then? So you're saying World War III would change the way we live?
It's going to change the landscape of the world.
Why can't we just do that now?
You could, but you'd have to destroy the government. And you have greed. You have
there's going to be greed in the future after what do you call those TV shows that are about after World War III?
After a zombie apocalypse.
Dystopian future. So in a dystopian future, there's always greed, right? Like when you watch something like The Walking Dead, you're going to have someone like Negan who runs a compound and he wants to go steal everyone's food.
But that's in the middle. You're seeing that as the end. That's the middle.
But what if that middle lasts longer than you want it to last?
Doesn't matter. It's not up to you. That's the middle. Because we know in the end, there is a Starship Enterprise. There is a Federation. There is all of that.
Because
we know that's what happened.
Gene Roddenberry says so.
I'm saying a lot of people say so. A lot of authors say it, not just Roddenberry. I'm saying there are multiple aspects that can occur that can lead to that. Yes, everything that you said that's going to happen, that's going to probably happen within the first 5 to 10 years. But eventually, you are not going to be able to handle it on your own. You are not your own castle. You're eventually going to need outside.
Oh, I thought I hit the mute button. Sorry.
You're going to need, eventually, you're going to need assistance.
Taco, taco, taco.
Chimichanga. Damn, it's already warm.
That was.
Damn, I can't even drink soda. This sucks.
Why? Oh, because of your sleep apnea?
No, I have to go to do a battery of EKG tests.
Man, are you getting paid for all these things? Are you going? What are you doing all this for?
Because I've never done them before.
All right.
Someone
are you just answering these ads now?
No. So when I got out here, I just got health insurance like a year and a half ago. Let me back up. I've had Medicaid since I got out here. I haven't been able to go to a doctor, and since I started going to a doctor about a year and a half ago.
Should go to Canada.
It was because I couldn't get off of work because I was taking time off of work to deal with mom and not myself. And then I started, getting like swelling in my legs and edema and other things. I'm like, I need to go to a doctor. And my uncle was like, well, you need to take care of your mom. You're just being selfish.
Damn.
And
You need to take care of yourself first before you can take care of somebody
Just
else.
like on the airplane, they tell you put the mask on yourself first, then your kids.
With an airplane, and I was like, wait a minute, why the fuck would I not take care of myself first? Because I can't help her.
Exactly.
If I can't do it, and like I've lost muscle mass.
Help her, help you.
The first thing was I thought I had my valley fever activated again because I was just really weak. And like she needed help getting picked up, and I was struggling to pick her up. And she's like $125, if that. So that's maybe 2 crates of records at once. So
$125.
So I was struggling to pick her up. So I was like, I need to go to the doctor. And my uncle's like, well, that's just being selfish. You didn't take your mom to the hospital. You could do all that when her stuff is done. And I was like, put your mask on yourself before you help somebody else. I was like, you know what? Screw you. She's your sister. You go take her to a doctor's appointment. I'm going to the urgent care. And I went to urgent care and I had an infection. They gave me antibiotics. They're like, if you had waited too much longer, this would have got really bad and you would have been hospitalized. So he came back and he was just talking shit to talk shit. And I basically told him, shut the fuck up, and came in the room. And I was like, I don't, and I said it in a way, I was like, you know what? Just shut the fuck up. I was like, and I came back out. I was like, I don't mean that to sound rude, but you're that dude that just talks to make it seem like you know what you're doing or that you're doing something, and you're not doing anything. I said, you guys used to joke about, they're breathing up all the good air. You're literally exhausting the oxygen.
You're breathing up all the white man's air. Come on now.
I was like, you are breathing up all the oxygen by just talking shit. So unless you're going to do something to help this family or this household, shut up or leave. I was like, because I don't want to hear anything else.
Is he living with you guys?
No. He lives less than a quarter of a mile away, but he can't find time to come help take my mom to like her dialysis if she misses an appointment, or if she needs to go to another doctor.
How old is he?
He's like 70-ish.
Okay. 70-something.
Yeah.
Who's taking care of him?
He's early 70s, late 60s.
Okay.
He's the same age as my cousin, Calvin. Calvin's the one that actually helped me unload the U-Haul after 4 days after I got here.
And he's in his 60s?
Yeah.
Dang, boy.
He's
people in their 60s getting physical.
My brother, if my brother was alive, my brother would be in his 60s. So, yeah, I have to go do this. I have to go do a stress test on my heart to see if I'm pumping blood properly through my body and a whole bunch of
the downside of going to the doctor and getting tests done is when they tell you something bad, man, then it's all over.
Not really.
Better to just not know about it.
I would rather know because then I know what to do. I guess it's different because I'm single and I don't have a wife or kids. But when I was in the hospital, I had already resigned. That was it. I had made my peace with it.
That you were going to have no wife and kids?
No, that was it. That I wasn't ever leaving. Remember, I went into the hospital.
Oh.
When I went in for valley fever, that was the height of 2019 of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was on the COVID floor. And the lady was going to put me into another wing that they reserve for VIPs because I kept coming up negative for COVID. And they're like, no, we're changing that into a COVID ward also.
Sorry, I just got a text.
Did you just walk up some steps?
from my
See? That's why you go get tested.
Thanks, Karen.
No, but, out here, though, PVG knows everybody in this community. So you'd be spoused up pretty quick out here. Wife and kids within like the first year.
Oh, you betcha.
Well, what I'm saying is that's why people are like, hey, if COVID happens again, blah, blah. I was like, I'm okay with it. So when I was in the hospital they did not know what I had for almost a month. And they did biopsies. They did a surgical biopsy twice for one part of my lungs and another part in my throat somewhere. And I basically stopped breathing twice and stopped heart beating, paused. They were going to defibrillate, but then it started on its own. And so the chick came in and told me that, and she was mad. And I realized I thought that she was just mad because I was like, stop telling me I have diabetes and pneumonia and just trying to get me to take more prescriptions before you discharge me. Because that's what they did the first time I was in the hospital, like weeks and weeks beforehand. It's just like, no, that's not it. It's like, you're so pig-headed and hard-headed. And she was East Indian. And so she's saying this so that actually she's like, you're so pig-headed and hard-headed, you Americans. You died on the operating table.
I need some Punjabi on the stream deck.
I was like, I don't think I died. I was like, I probably stopped breathing. But she's like, no, you stop breathing all the time. You do that every goddamn night.
I guess I don't. Shit. I thought I had some Punjabi on here.
But so yeah, I resorted to realizing, if that's it, then that's it. But if I know of going to the doctor, he says, hey, you know what, you have this and you've got 2 years to live, I would rather go do what I want in that 2 years than to just live my life thinking, oh, I got to go get a job. I got to go get this promotion. I got to make this money so I can make this rent. That's just throwing my time away. I'm spinning my wheels doing nothing.
You should be living your good life anyway, like us.
Ride a bull named Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
or a girl named Fu Manchu.
I already did that one, so I'm good.
My friend is obviously Chinese. Caught his head in a mechanical rice picker.
I'd rather know. I would honestly, and I was going to bring this up on our other podcast before we ended it. If you knew you had like 2 years
before we ended it.
Wow.
Well, before Tom ended it. If you knew you had 2 years to live, like, what would you do? Like, and I thought about that. I was like, I would probably go out to Tom's. I'd go live out in the country. I'd go do some shit.
No,
we got plenty of land.
We'd do all kinds of stuff. This is like every day is a crossing something off the bucket list out here.
I would be like, let me go visit Tom. Let me go to New York.
Oh, we'd have to go to Ticonderoga, New York. Meet Shatner up in August.
The Shat?
Yeah, I'm good.
He's going to be there in August.
I'll meet y'all on the way back.
There's all the production meetings we have.
Oh yeah, we have production meetings down at the Mexican restaurant.
Okay, I could do that
with the gumbo.
Wait,
all right, check it out. On the thumbnail, I pose a question. Archer and Picard both save Earth from a disastrous fate. Jean-Luc Picard, we all know him from The Next Generation and several movies.
Right.
And Jonathan Archer from Enterprise, the captain of the NX-01. So they both save Earth. Who's saving Earth do you think is more either heroic or more important?
Which time? And how come Kirk is not on this list?
I would say
Or
Archer.
is it just between these two?
I'm saying just these two.
All right, define the time that Picard saved Earth.
First contact.
Okay, that's it? Just first contact.
Because remember, when they are traveling through the time vortex, they see that the Earth is 9 billion all Borg, right? For that split few seconds. And then
I just watched that episode about this.
And then, of course, Archer saves them from the Xindi's second attack, where the sphere is coming to blow up the planet.
Well, clearly it's going to be Archer's, because if Archer didn't save it, there would be no Picard.
First contact was before Archer.
Right. Think about that. If Picard didn't save it, there would be no Archer. He would be a Borg.
Oh, aha. Catch 22.
Most illogical.
My question is this. What happened to the Borg that were on the deflector dish?
They landed on Earth in the Antarctica and ended up on Enterprise Season 3, Episode 4.
Those are different Borg.
Oh.
That was from the spear that got destroyed. Yeah. I just watched a video on that, and I just realized because what's his face from the CW Arrowverse shows on there with the weird eyes, and he gets turned into a Borg. He's like one of the first ones that gets turned into a Borg. Hawkins, yes. So when Worf ejects him off of
that's trivia right there.
What happened to their bodies?
You know how I can remember his name? Because
Stephen Hawkins.
Because when Picard shows up at the battle, when the Enterprise shows up at the battle where the Borg cube is, and the Defiant, and then Worf says, "Prepare for ramming speed," and then the guy says, "Hey, wait, there's another ship. It's the Enterprise," which is, as I said in the last episode, my favorite scene from any Star Trek show or movie. And
that was a pretty dope show. Dope little spot.
And then when they destroy the Borg cube, then the sphere pops out, and then Picard says, "Mr. Hawkins, pursuit course. Engage." But then Hawkins becomes a Borg.
A Borg.
Borg.
Big.
Okay, so I agree. I think Archer's... See, here's the thing. Nobody knows what Picard did because that was a time... I don't know, like, that was a time manipulation, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, because Picard stopped the Borg from changing history, no one knows about it. Other than a few people in the 24th century. What Archer did, everybody knows because the Earth was on like eggshells thinking they were about to be destroyed because 7 million people had just gotten killed by the Xindi. And so they sent Archer out to go out and stop that threat, which they were really not, if you think about it, what the hell? How in the hell these clowns stopped that? But here's my question about that whole situation. Why would the Xindi send out a probe that only killed 7 million? Why wouldn't the sphere, those sphere builders, right? Those are the people that sent them the information from the future because the sphere builders could time travel. And they wanted to make sure the Xindi destroyed humanity because they know that humanity in 400 years was going to destroy the sphere builders. Why wouldn't they
send more than one spear?
Why wouldn't they just send them with the final weapon? Like, why send a little, like, that whole thing that killed 7 million people made humans and Earth on their toes. Like, that woke them up. If they would have just said, don't worry about that shit. Just send the probe to destroy the Earth.
Oh, because it united them?
It did.
On the planet. And they said, maybe we should have a united federation of planets.
No, but it didn't unite them that much. Planet. You know why? It didn't unite them that much. Because, so here's the thing.
No, what I'm saying is this. They didn't send the final project because they didn't have time to. They didn't find out in time from the leader or whoever's giving them instructions from the past. Because if they had sent it, if they waited too much longer, you would have had the United Federation of Planets. You would have had the Tellurites, the Andorians, the Vulcans, and the humans. That's 4, and any other ones that they picked up. Now instead of just dealing with planet Earth and destroying them, now you got to deal with 4 total species and their friends trying to stop you. So that's why they couldn't send the whole thing. However, I did wonder why they didn't send more than 1, because they built 2 to begin with.
Why didn't they send earlier
both at the same time?
Right. Why didn't the sphere builders go back a little further?
Yeah, earlier in time.
Maybe they didn't know it. Maybe they didn't. They couldn't.
I guess they would have had to send it after the warp drive was invented.
they had from the time that Archer took the Klingon back.
Yeah.
I think that because that's where they really. I mean, you had first contact with Vulcan, but you don't know what's going to happen. But as soon as Archer does the whole Klingon return, that's really when humanity started making a name for themselves and annoying the shit out of other species.
Do you think the sphere builders were showing them fake videos of their planet being destroyed? Like, how did they convince the Xindi to attack Earth, that Earth was going to destroy them?
I think they were showing mirror universe videos. I think they were showing a different universe altogether. Because that's definitely something the Terran universe would have done.
You got to be pretty gullible. Like,
and be manipulated.
Who could manipulate us? Could we be manipulated?
In the future,
well, yeah. We get manipulated by CNN.
By AI right now. I mean, look, how good is AI in the future?
I was going to tell you, the Crewman Patty video did look a smidge AI-ish. So.
I know, but that's why right here in the title it says Crewman Patty is not AI.
Oh, yeah.
That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit.
I stand on business. I don't stand on AI.
But what I'm saying is, so everything that you're mentioning right now goes back to how early humans could have manipulated an omnipresent God, because we manipulated everybody else already in different points of history that clearly overpowered us. It's basically we were always the little guy. We didn't have the technology to stand up. We don't have the technology to stand up against the Vulcans.
Yeah.
Yet we manipulated our way into being their bestest of friends until the burn. And that was literally like 2,000 years.
Manipulative of the Vulcans, though, because
we didn't have to be. We didn't have to be that manipulative. We just had to give, hey, I don't want you to show me how to make warp 4 go to warp 6, but, you know, we think it's this. What would happen if I did this? Oh, it's illogical to do it that way? Okay, thanks.
Do you think the writers of Star Trek, so this is one of the points in this guy's video that I was watching. Do you think in all of the writings of Star Trek that all of those, like Gene Roddenberry and all these other guys, are narcissistic, that humans are the best species in the universe?
Yes. I think they're narcissists because they don't want to break the shell of, humans.
We outdo everybody.
We're the good guys. We're the underdog. We always win.
Yeah. Like we become more advanced than the Vulcans. We become more advanced than the Klingons. We become more advanced than pretty much everybody.
I think that is a Trumpism. That is a Starfleet. We have the best starships. We have the best phasers. Our phasers are the number one.
Well, let me ask you this about the Klingons.
A Klingon phaser will outdo us. A Vulcan phaser will outdo us. Our shields suck compared to everybody else's. We just talk shit and say it with enough backing up that people believe us.
Yeah, but we came up with shit like transphasic torpedoes.
Did we?
Yeah.
Or did T'Pol pass that along? Aha.
You're saying the Vulcans have transphasic torpedoes?
I'm saying the Vulcan Science Academy does not believe in time travel. Yet T'Pol time traveled, and so did Spock.
Yeah, but they changed the minds, right? They believe in time travel now.
Now, yeah, once it was thrown in their face. I'm saying I think they underplay their cards. I am
the
pretty
time
sure
travel
the Vulcan
thing
could smack the shit out of us.
The time travel thing bothered me because remember how easily Enterprise time travels? Kirk time travels accidentally, or slingshots. All these ways of time traveling. You would think that if the Vulcans had warp technology centuries before us, couldn't they have accidentally time traveled?
And I think they did. I think they withheld it, just like they withheld Archer's daddy's engine.
So you're saying the Vulcans just didn't want anybody to know
exactly
that we could time travel because they didn't want that They didn't want the ability to time travel to be out there getting used willy-nilly.
Exactly, because then all it takes is a pissed off Andorian to be, I don't know, have an itch on his ass about a Romulan, and he time travels back and he fucks up everything.
Were the Vulcans better than the Andorians? Why wouldn't the Andorians know? Again, if Kirk accidentally figured out how to time travel, why couldn't anybody else time travel?
I think they could.
Because nobody else has a TV show. We don't have the Andorian travels. If they made a TV show, I guarantee you other people came across it, but that's not something you want to tell people. We didn't tell motherfuckers we were making an atomic bomb, but we did. And it wasn't
but if we were making
a
TV show, we would talk about it.
But it wasn't until after we dropped it that everybody's like, oh, well, we got one of them too. We just do it a little bit different.
And that's a good point, until after we dropped it. As far as we know, that's all we have right now is nuclear bombs. What if we have something else? What if we have the
we got all kinds of shit that we don't know about.
We don't know that we have the Corbomite bomb, which is 500 billion times, stronger.
Well, that we got them laser beams, right? Like that's starting all them wildfires.
Lasers.
Unless your roof is painted a certain color.
Blue. You got to have a blue roof.
Yeah, it'll miss your house.
You don't need any of those. We have the Hayden Collider.
Laser.
Let
me get them quotes in screen.
I forgot what it's called. It's the collider that can basically
the atom smasher,
start a black hole.
Right.
I mean, our asses could literally be Vulcan.
There could be a little miniature black hole in Sweden right now.
So, I think it's like the Karate Kid premise.
Wax on.
The show portrays humans as the protagonist because the show is about humans and Starfleet. But if you think about it, and I think Tom, you mentioned this as well because you started getting pissed off at during Enterprise. We're not the heroes. We got into all this shit and talked our ass off to get out of it by pissing off all these species that we met for the first time. We pissed on a tree, pissed that species off.
That's
shit like that. We're not
the dog pissed on a tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the sacred tree.
Right.
Same thing with Karate Kid.
I hear you.
Johnny didn't do anything wrong. Danny LaRusso is the one that basically started it and antagonized it.
I agree.
And
Danny LaRusso was the villain. Ralph Macchio was the villain all these years.
And when Johnny fought back, he's the hey, turn the other cheek, be the bigger guy, you got more going for you. You're in a better, your family's in a better financial place. Just let the kid have this one. And when he was like, fuck that, why would I let this dude tarnish my name and reputation?
I got the date wrong.
It's the 8th, isn't it?
Damn.
It is the 8th.
Oh, you know what happened?
Stardate's all fucked up.
It's a wormhole.
What happened is you got the 17 and the 7 confusing.
Yeah, we're in a time vortex.
Time vortex.
So right now the big news is the Strange New World. There's a new trailer for season 3, which is coming out July 17th on Paramount Plus. Not trying to, be a.
We're plugging. I'm plugging.
All right. I mean, we might have to think about some type of watch party.
I'm definitely down for that.
Watch it all live reactions.
Will we get copyright infringement?
I mean, we can't show it. We can't show it.
But we can watch it.
Everybody can watch it on Paramount Plus. Yeah, everybody. I mean, get that damn $5 Paramount Plus, people. Come on. Even if you just get it to watch Strange New Worlds. But there's some other good shows on there too. Tulsa King, which there's going to be a spinoff of Tulsa King with Samuel called Nola King.
I have not gone back to finish watching
Yellowstone
second season.
stuff, like the others, not the main Yellowstone, but the spin-offs are on
The
Paramount Plus.
1893.
Yeah. But there's, and then Landman, that's good. So there's a lot of good
Landman's
shows
on
on
there.
Paramount Plus. So it's definitely worth it. It's probably one of the better networks right now.
For those of you that don't have Paramount,
If you're a
and you wanna watch
Trekkie and
the
you ain't got
movies-
Paramount Plus,
You ain't got shit.
you ain't a Trekkie. Get the
Hey,
hell.
no, fuck that. I got your back. Pluto TV is currently showing
Magix is giving you his login to Paramount Plus.
Pluto TV is a free app, a free website.
In your password.
They are showing all of the Star Trek movies from start to finish. I want to say in the month of June or July. And they have dedicated Star Trek channels where they literally show Star Trek seasons, like Enterprise or series, 24 hours a day.
His username is I am Crewman Mgyx, and here's his password.
So even if you
Scotty,
can't
what
afford,
was
even if
that?
you can't afford Paramount Plus on the trial period, you want to get your Star Trek on, you could always turn to Pluto TV to at least get caught up on the movies. But yes, the Paramount Plus trial is free for, I want to say, 14 days. And I think they're having a promo coming up.
Let me
It's
ask
pretty
this
cheap as
question
well.
about what Strange New World Season 3 is starting to look like. And I mean, I feel like this is already happening a lot
Can't tell.
from Season 2, with the Kirk stuff. The James Tiberius Kirk. I feel like he's appearing too much in Strange New Worlds.
This isn't James Tiberius Kirk.
Who is it?
It's James R. Kirk.
Who's that?
It's the Kirk from the original series where they did the tombstone.
What is he talking about?
Most illogical.
All
So
right.
there's a James T. Kirk, and then there's a James R. Kirk.
There's Sam Kirk.
There's a
then
James
there's-
R. Kirk.
No, there's
Yeah,
no
go back
James
and
R.
watch.
Man, someone
the
fact
one-
check this guy.
No.
Go back to the episode of the OG series where his friend gets the silver eyes, and he takes the chick, and they become omnipresent beings. It's like the third or fourth episode. And he's like, "No,
all right.
Kirk, here's your grave," and it says James R. Kirk.
All right, regardless of that,
So let's just say James Kirk is in
when
here.
when you watch the episodes that have I guess there's really only one with Pike and Kirk, right? Which is the menagerie from the OG, where Pike has this really bad injury, and they're taking, and Spock hijacks the Enterprise to take him back to the Telosians.
There was the cage.
No, I thought the cage was the pilot.
The cage is no. The cage was where they bring it back.
Okay. But Kirk and Pike don't really know each other. But the way that Strange New Worlds is playing out, Pike and Kirk are interacting with each other too much. Like, they're almost like becoming friends, at least from what
Why?
we're seeing so far, which is
Why
going to
not?
go against what happens in the OG.
That's what I'm saying. Timeline.
Right, but Strange New Worlds is not supposed to be its own timeline, is it? I thought it was just
Yeah.
a prequel.
No, it's a prequel, but it's an alternate timeline.
Oh, God.
Because think of it this way: look at the Kelvin movie where
done
Pike
with this
meets
shit.
Kirk at the bar,
I'm done with
and he's
this.
like,
Dang, dog.
I read your
Alternate timeline.
I did a paper on your father, and that's the first time Pike met Kirk is in the bar on Earth. But then now you have a series, and like, oh well, he's on Farragut.
What if they said,
Which
"Oh well,
ironically-
Anakin's actually good. This is an alternate timeline. He doesn't become Darth Vader." Man, get that
Look,
shit
man.
alternate
Hey,
timeline. out of here.
not to change the subject. What I'm wearing today is Pike's
Kirk era. can't
Pike's
tell.
era.
OG Pike,
What
Oh,
OG?
OG Pike.
What he wore in the cage?
not that alternate timeline.
No, not
Pike
the old,
shit.
No, the OG.
Okay, so OG Pike is
And back
the top,
then
and what
they
are the
only had
bottoms?
one Captain Stripe.
This cup stink. This can smells like boo boo. Ooh. Did you rub these on your ass before you brought them over?
He tried to open it. With
Cup smells like
everybody,
ass.
please shut up.
No.
Use your powers for good, not evil. Use
upper
your powers
lip.
for good, not evil. Use your powers for good, not evil.
I'll stop drinking that can. Is this yours
So
right here?
yes,
No, that's yours.
I don't think This is not the same timeline as the OG.
There's too many timelines. This is what's wrong.
Everything
This is
is
the
off.
problem with Star
There's
Trek right
way-
now.
That's what happens. You go with time travel, and then whoop-de-doo. Here we're going this way.
No,
and
there's
the
not
other
even
guy's going
time
that
travel.
way.
They're following. Know what the fuck? The
there's no
first
time
they're following
travel.
DC.
This alternate
and
universe
Spider-Man.
has got to stop.
They're trying to do too many things, like Superman. This is now the third or fourth Superman.
Fourth or fifth
That
or
is an
sixth.
origin story. Just like Spider-Man has had 4 origin stories, and they're all 3-picture deals. Now you have Star Trek doing the same thing, and it's like, look, this would have been an awesome show if you based it off of one timeline, one canon.
What I
But
don't
now
get
you're
though
throwing it in different.
is Strange New Worlds without Kirk has a really good cast. Why do
Yeah.
they need him? Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me. You got Pike, Strange New World Pike. I like him. I think he's an awesome Pike. Then you got, obviously, Nurse Chapel. You got
I like
Spock.
Mbenga.
I like Spock.
I like Mbenga.
I like
Mbenga
Mbenga.
can fuck people up.
I like La'an. I like.
On, yeah.
I mean, I like a lot of them. They don't need this Kirk. Like, they don't need James Kirk, right? They can have
All right,
his
I'll put it
brother.
this way. So where was La'an in the original series? That's how I know it's a totally different timeline. There's no La'an. There's no
Well,
Noonan
some-
Singh
I mean-
relatives.
They're going to have to course correct at some point.
She dies
I
or
don't-
gets
I don't think
transferred
they're
to
going
a
to.
different ship or something.
Yeah, maybe she just goes to a different ship.
Or maybe she just quits Starfleet.
Or she dies.
Gets married and whatever.
Maybe she changes her name to
I don't know. I agree
Rand.
with you. I don't think we needed to have a Kirk
a James Kirk.
until I don't think we needed a Kirk until like the final season of whenever.
And
Strange
yeah,
New Worlds
Pike
is
and
gonna
Kirk
be.
can't become friends because it just doesn't happen.
It's Scotty's already on there now.
That doesn't happen either. Like, that's confusing.
And especially when the Kelvin timeline, they discover Scotty in there, and he wasn't even on the ship yet.
The not the Kelpian. The chick, the old lady, the crazy lady,
Yeah.
she wasn't on there either.
The one
Number
that's
one.
thousands of years old.
Lotka's wife?
Right.
No.
Or Lotka.
The
played-
Lithordian or whatever she is. She's the engineer.
Yeah.
The
Number
old lady.
one, the Elorians, like that wasn't in the original series either. So it's kind of, that's why I said this is a totally different timeline or a different universe than our original one.
Like, what they should have did
Because
is they should have looked at that
where are they going to bring in
pilot.
McCoy?
They should have looked at
Yeah.
the pilot episode of Star Trek OG and maybe tried to reverse engineer that. Because that would have been like one of the last episodes that Pike was in.
But I also see that they don't want to be stuck.
Anakin's a
They don't
good
want to
guy.
be stuck. They don't want to be stuck in the original
But
timeline.
that's the
They don't want-
problem,
because
though, is
only us.
you are stuck. You're stuck. This is
How are you going to bring in new people then? How are you going to bring in a new generation?
just like you did with the Phantom Menace. Is you write
I was
a
drunk.
story that leads into the pilot episode. You could have written a history of Pike and his crew to where the very ending after 5 seasons, they're saying, ends up with that last episode where they go to Telosia or whatever it is. They should have just reverse engineered it. But now they're creating a new timeline. There's just too many timelines. So now we have I call it the Discovery timeline because it's really from Discovery that Strange New Worlds spun off from. You have the Kelvin timeline.
I don't give a Discovery that much credit.
I mean, but
I'll
it
go
is
with the
where it
Strange
came
New
from. though.
Worlds. It is, but Strange New Worlds is better. So
I agree. I like Discovery or Strange New Worlds better
No,
than
Strange
Kelvin.
New Worlds is better. Well, we're talking about Discovery. Come on, man.
Discovery.
Keep up, man.
Not the game, but
Oh, you
Discovery.
just spilled. He just spilled some beverage on his new Pike blouse.
It's water. It was dew. It was a dew.
Do.
Condensation.
All right.
Dude, would be
You know what? Let's move past Strange New World season
Hold
3
on.
trailer.
Where? So the other thing is this: where's McCoy?
Not yet. He hasn't. I guess something happens to Dr. What's his name? Bajinga or whatever.
Mbanga.
Pachinko?
Mbanga.
Mbinga.
Mbanga.
All right. You guys ready for some Guess Who? Let's do a Guess Who.
Who are
The
you?
room.
Can you
Only he would get.
Can you see the Guess Who?
Guess who's coming for dinner?
I heard him.
I'm sharing the screen, right?
Yeah, I see Guess Who.
Yep.
Okay, this is from an article called The 10 Best Captains.
I know these guys.
And one captain from the 10 best is missing. Who do you think it is?
Really? Archer.
It'd have to be Archer, yeah. Unless you want to say Pike.
Because you saw this slide already.
No. That's just a fact.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Vulcans
Would
never
we
bluff.
say that these are 5 of the 10 best? I mean, they're 5 of the 10. Are there 10? I don't know.
Sure, there's more.
Yeah, because you have new captains and you have old captains.
Yeah, this is the old batch, right?
This is a mix. I looking at this now, I just realized Kirk should be off by himself. The other 4 are all in their own time spectrum.
Yeah.
But if we really go TOS, then the Next Generation era, and now you have the Strange New Worlds era. So there's really 3 distinct eras of Star Trek.
Would you say Kirk is the best?
No,
I do.
I know.
I like him. He's my boy.
I mean, I do like JLP.
I'm gonna say shout out to Sci-Fi Savage. This is her last 2 shows are about this exact same subject. Kirk, no. Janeway, hell no. It's a toss-up, ironically, between JLP and Cisco.
Oh, hell no. Get that Cisco shit out of here.
Yo,
There ain't no DEI in here. We don't do DEI.
So I realized I had made a mistake when I said fuck Cisco. I am gonna say fuck Cisco's first season because that acting was atrocious. But then I realized the real reason why I hated is because he never this is Sparta Kai Wynn off the fucking promenade balcony. And he had plenty of opportunities to do that. But when Cisco needs to get down and do some gangsta shit, he slides back into that hawk persona and he handles his shit.
All right.
So it's a toss-up between JLP and Cisco. Kirk, you got 57 people killed in your first 3 episodes.
Yeah, but they were non-union SAG actors.
No, I don't give a shit. Janeway is constantly threatening to blow up the ship.
Janeway
Every
puts everybody
goddamn time.
else in front of the lives of her crew. F Janeway.
Right. Janeway is threatening, and if that don't, she's gonna blow up the ship.
Janeway is the worst. I'm gonna even say Janeway is worse than Archer.
Archer's the 4th on my list because he was just naive until the last season. And I think that maybe that's where Kirk gets a little bit of his gusto from, but it's kind of like it's a little too late, but he was still very naive and I didn't.
He's
it
still
was like
learning.
he was.
I'm giving Picard the edge because he's Locutus.
There is that. He does still have that touch with the collective.
Yep.
So he does have that, but let's be honest, he got captured.
Yeah. What a loser.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen other than him beating up his ships and the one Borg in the holodeck in the movie. I haven't seen Picard really get down. Like he talks a good game, he talks a political game, but I ain't seen him.
You
get
need
down.
to rewatch TNG then. You're forgetting.
I'm going to. Cisco gets down though. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. Go to the cot. I'll close these blinds up. Take this baseball bat to your motherfucking neck.
Cisco, listen real quick. Cisco is on the Love Boat, okay? The DS9 is the Love Boat. Cisco is the key character in 25% of the episodes.
No, you gotta flip that around.
On TNG, Picard is the key character in like 90% of the episodes.
No, Cisco's on Fantasy Island. Picard is on the Love Boat.
Now the Enterprise ain't the Love Boat.
Yeah, it is.
DS9. Okay,
Someone's
well,
always trying to plug
you know
in.
what? Call DS9 Fantasy Island, but Enterprise ain't neither of those. There ain't no love on Enterprise. I mean, it ain't like
disagree.
Welcome aboard. We're expecting you. It's love. You know, welcome aboard. It's love. No, there ain't none of that on the Enterprise.
This is what it is. Kirk's number 1, Archer's number 2, Picard's number 3, Cisco 4, and Janeway 5. No. I take that back.
You racist.
No. Cisco is 5. Janeway is 4.
What the fuck? Now you're being racist. Shit.
I mean, Cisco, he's on a space station. That thing don't go anywhere except for around
He
that
ain't even a captain for a minute.
Everyone's cruising through his neighborhood, stepping on his turf. Picard can bitch out, get us out of here, number 1. He can run away. Cisco's got to stand on business.
He's got to...
Man, you know what? I just watched 2 episodes of DS9 today, and Cisco wasn't even the main focus of either one.
And that's good. I'm okay with that.
All right.
They should call it, instead of TNG, just call it Picard, which is what they fucking did. I ain't gonna hate on it, but JLP, he talks a little too much. He talks a little too much, and he needs to act more.
All right, get ready for the next. Get ready for the next Guess Who.
It's a little too late.
We got sidetracked here, but that's all right.
All right.
Next Guess Who.
Next.
This is from another article. This article is about the women of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Who's missing in the middle?
Dr. Polanski or Tasha Yar?
Who do you think's missing in the middle?
Data. No.
Data.
Either gonna be
women
Guinan, Tasha Yar, or Dr. Pulaski.
Oh,
Whoopi!
Damn.
Whoopi! Oh man, that glare, boy. She needs to powder up her forehead a little bit.
That ain't that. That is called white people lighting.
White.
That's what it is. I mean, honestly, that's so PVG. That is a real thing. It is
people
lighting. So like when I started doing the podcast, and I'm a photographer, I forgot I cannot set my lights up the same way that Tom and everyone else does, because he's white and he's white skinned, and I'm not.
Not to change the subject, the street that I live on, Magic, is called Cracker Neck. It's one word, Cracker Neck with a C.
I'm coming to visit you. I'm not coming to visit you.
I love to hear. I always wonder what the story was behind that name.
All right, let's get into this next one. Ready? Who's doing the Vulcan salute?
Wait. Hold on. Go back one screen. Marry, fuck, kill.
All right.
No, I'm asking y'all. That's the question. Yes. Who you gonna marry? Who you gonna fuck? Who you gonna
Nobody, because I know what they all look like right now.
Well, put yourself back in that era at this time.
This age.
Oh, back then? Well, I guess I would have to say Mary, Deanna.
I can't believe her.
Bang the doctor, and I guess kill Whoopi.
Kill Whoopi's a given. Bang the doc, yeah, and Mary.
Whoopi ain't attractive.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you're forcing everybody to make that choice.
Let's hear Magic.
Yeah, what are you about to say? You killing Whoopi too? Get out of here.
No.
What? Then you lying.
No, and I'll tell you why. I forgot how I worked this out.
Because we just gonna do a foursome.
Oh, I'm marrying Deanna, banging Whoopi, killing the doctor. Here's why. The doctor serves no real purpose other than Wesley. So I could step in as a father figure to Wesley because he becomes the traveler. I know this because Guinan is an Elorian, so she could tell me kind of that shit.
All right.
And Marina's a Betazoid. She could tell me other people's shit as well.
But
the doctor don't do shit.
The doctor could take care of you, like
so
right
can
now.
Deanna, and so can Whoopi.
You don't need to go to those
Like,
tests.
hey, you're gonna get the flu in a couple months. Take that
All right,
apple
next
cider
slide.
vinegar
Here
shot.
we go. Who is Vulcan saluting?
Boiler.
Take a guess, because this is just a guess. Obviously.
I did.
No, I know. I'm talking to PVD.
That is,
You're saying Boimler? In the crossover episode?
Calvin
That
Kirk.
is one of my favorite episodes.
Calvin
too.
Kirk.
Kelvin Kirk.
Yeah.
Kelvin Kirk salutes?
Yeah. He's,
Let's see who it is.
oh,
You took my daddy's engine.
He's swallowed his pride, and now he's down with the high council. All right.
Oh man,
that's
think
a
of
funny
Archer.
fingers.
Think of Archer doing his lines about his daddy's engine, and the essence of Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious.
Family.
Family, you took my daddy's engine. You withheld us back for years.
Who's missing from this movie poster?
Bones.
Ahura.
Bones.
Nope, it's Ahura.
Zoe Saldana. Who's missing? This is a tough one.
Chakotay.
Yeah.
Chakota.
Good guess.
I don't know how to do the wrong emphasis on the syllables.
Oh, here we go. Let's do some
He's
quotes.
got the same tattoo as Mike Tyson, don't he?
All right, ready for the first quote?
You're a senior officer on this ship. You're privy to the moral challenges I've had to face. You know I've wrestled with the fine line between doing what I think is right and interfering with other species. So don't tell me you know what I would have done when I don't even know what I would have done.
Who knows?
Janeway.
I don't know.
Janeway.
No, I don't know.
Jenny Y.
Let's see what the answer is.
That's what I think it is. I think it's Janeway.
You're a senior
Oh,
officer
come
on
on, damn it. How come this doesn't fast forward? There we go. Ready for
Picard,
the answer?
Picard. I'm changing.
Oh, you're going Picard?
Picard, yeah.
You changing or you staying Janeway?
I'm staying Janeway.
Here's the answer.
You're a senior
Archer.
officer on this ship.
Archer, I mean.
Damn it!
You're
As
privy
soon
to
as
the moral challenges
it.
I've had to face.
as soon as you said that, I started thinking about. I was like,
That's the episode, the cogenitor episode, where he teaches the cogenitor species the gender, you know, the third gender that's just there to sprinkle her, well, cogenitor juice on the eggs.
Skirt, 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 skirt.
Gosh.
I don't want to
To
get
all them
copyrighted.
bitches, girl.
All right, let's do one more.
You're a senior officer.
We're going to get copyrighted. I got to keep it under 10 seconds. All right, here's the next quote. Here we go.
If force is necessary, we will use it, but that will mean we have failed. Our goal here is to establish some kind of relations with the Romulans. If we don't succeed, then to convince them of our resolve. The general feeling at Starfleet is that they are seeking a confrontation. They may want to test themselves in battle against a Federation starship, see how far we have advanced.
Say Picard.
You going JLP? Mgyx?
No, that sounds like a Vulcan. That sounds like
If force is necessary,
SNW Spock.
if force is necessary, we
God damn it. Fast forward. Okay. Ready for the
Wait,
answer?
wait. Play it again.
Oh, shit. I don't know if I can go back now. Ready?
Yeah.
If force is necessary, we will use it, but that will mean we have failed. Our goal here is to establish some kind of relations with the Romulans. If we
good.
don't
Pike.
succeed, then to convince them
Do
of
they
our
even
resolve.
deal with the Romulans?
The general feeling at Starfleet is that they are
Pike.
seeking a
All right.
confrontation.
Let's see.
They may want to test themselves in battle
Who'd you
against the
say?
Federation starship.
Picard.
See how far
Picard,
we have
JLP?
advanced.
Yep.
Pike. All right, let's see. Let's
I'm going
go.
with Pike.
If force is
Here's the answer.
If force is necessary, we will use it, but that will mean we have failed. Our goal here is to establish some kind of relationship.
I think I was in that meeting.
It was so
If force
close.
is necessary, we will
damn
use
it.
it, but that
Come
will
on.
mean we have failed.
Copyrighted. All right. I got 10 multiple choice Po-Porry. Easy ones. Easy ones for you guys.
I'm gonna fail.
Which ambassador incited a diplomatic incident aboard Deep Space Nine with a Lurian?
Laxwana.
Isn't that Deanna's mama?
Yep, but she's the only ambassador I know on this list.
Loxana Troy caused a stir in DS9 Season 1, Episode 17. I'm close to that. I'm at Season 1, Episode 15.
Damn, dude. I'm probably out season 4 now.
She flirted with Odo.
She got a thing for Odo.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that. What species created the telepathic game used to control Starfleet cadets in TNG? Ooh, is that the one where they were wearing the head, like the glasses?
I don't know. Uridian.
Yeah,
I think.
I want to say that. B.
Katarians. The Katarians developed the game in The Game, TNG, Season 5, Episode 6, to manipulate. And they did that very well. Who had to save them? Data? Forgot about
I think it was Data and Wesley.
Yeah. Which planet houses the penal colony?
Is that penal?
Rurapente.
That's
Yep.
an easy one. And by the way, Archer escaped from Rurapente. They gotta go back and mess things up. What was the genetic purpose of Jem'Hadar's dependence on white?
White.
Loyalty reinforcement.
Do you
because they
remember
can only
that?
Get it
No.
from
The Jem'Hadar were under the control of the Dominion because they had them hooked.
box? What was the other one?
Neural pathway regulation. The white controlled Jem'Hadar's neurochemistry. Yeah, because without
just
it, they
now
would
getting
like
into
die, right? They had to have the white chemical. It was like their
It was
cocaine.
like crack.
Yeah. Cocaine. Which Klingon artifact was required for a traditional rite of succession?
The Sword of
Kahless.
Kahless.
The mummification glyph. The glyph confirmed lineage in Reunion TNG Season 4.
damage.
What was the profession of Cassidy Yates before joining DS9?
Who the fuck is Cassidy Yates?
B. She was a teacher.
I don't know who that is. I haven't gotten that far.
She's a traitor.
That's what I meant.
She was a
Traitor.
licensed freighter captain in Family Business.
Oh,
Season
that's the
3,
chick Cisco
Episode
starts
20.
banging.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far
Ain't
yet.
she the girl from like Flashdance or something?
No,
Oh,
dude, it's
no.
a black woman.
Yeah, Irene Cara. But
Kara.
no,
That's
not
not Flash
her.
Dance.
Kara.
That's Fame.
Feeling, now.
That's Fame.
What species use mind control to create the illusion of paradise in This Side of Paradise?
Because he got mind control over Debo.
Remember the
Organians. I don't think that's right, but
the
I'm gonna go
Organians
with
were
it.
the ones who stopped the fighting between the Klingons and the Federation.
Oh,
Let's see.
Spore based organism.
Yeah.
Spore based.
Yeah.
Spores, because remember them big flowers would just shoot poofy clouds out at people. That's OG stuff right there.
Clear your sinuses too.
What method did the Xindi use to initially test their weapon on Earth?
prototype strike.
Yeah, we just talked about this. That was a dumb idea, Xindi. That sent Archer after you.
Ooh.
What technology allowed Voyager to cross vast distances in The Gift?
Telepathic launch.
See.
By Cass.
Kest used her powers to launch Voyager far. Wouldn't that be telepathic?
You would
That's
think.
what I said. Telepathic launch.
All right, well then ChatGPT may be wrong. We'll go back and fact check this one.
Guess isn't even Borg.
Wait, wait. What is wrong about that answer?
No, I mean I'm saying the ChatGPT may be wrong.
Oh, why does it say Borg catapult? That's just dumb.
We'll have
I
to
didn't
check
realize that
Voyager
was the
season 4,
answer.
episode 2. Somebody go watch that.
Yeah, it should be telepathic launch, not Borg catapult. That's just dumb.
Okay. What unusual spatial structure did the NX-01 encounter in the catwalk?
Neutronic storm.
Yeah. Yep.
Neutronic storm. Hey, and by the way, there's no big white block here. The crew sheltered inside the nacelles. I remember that episode.
And they started cooking
Shelter
up
in
there.
place.
Yep.
Barbecue.
That was
or
it.
something.
See, we had just a short thing today.
Well, that's cool.
Not a lot of trivia, you know, mostly meat and potato talking. What else? What else is new?
Well,
What are you
tomorrow's-
watching?
tomorrow's-
Have you watched any Star Trek recently?
I have not. I've been.
God damn.
You know what? Show him
Yeah.
the thing I
Oh.
made.
PVG
Carol Merrill has
made
this.
these on his 3D printer.
I don't know what that is.
See it? It's a coaster. Our viewers can see it on the YouTube.
Okay, I can see it.
So it's like a Federation emblem on a coaster. And he made a holder for it that's got Federation logos on the sides. So this is pretty nice. Hooking up the studio with some Federation.
I see some big ass Federation deltas behind you.
Oh yeah,
Where's that?
behind you.
Behind you.
One fell on
What
the
part of
side.
behind you?
What is going on?
Oh, he 3D printed this.
Okay.
See what happens when you get a 3D printer and you're
you
a
just
Trekkie?
3D away.
You just
So
start. You use up all your filament.
Yes.
I do not know how 3D printing got put on my algorithm, but like every fourth feed is something 3D printed. That's why I keep sending you the links in the
I
chat.
saw that.
I'm like, those would be pretty dope. Hey, that looks like you should be on the cartoon. It's that big.
Not to change the subject.
That's
but
what she said.
Not to change the subject. I went to a housewarming
Well,
today.
you did change the subject,
All right.
though.
And
So you meant to do it.
I gave another set just like that, Star Trek coasters, to Jake and Courtney. Hey,
Shout out to Jake and Courtney with the new
Yeah.
Federation coaster, Starfleet coasters.
I guarantee you're the only. Well, never mind. I was going to say you're the only people in the neck of this woods with a pair of those, but you got them too. So. Never
Ha
mind.
ha. Ha ha, I say.
Hey, so how much was your 3D printer?
Oh, my wife might be watching, so we don't
All right,
want to.
so what's that? All right, let me not ask you how much yours is. 'Cause I've seen some that are really pretty small. They're about the size of my little
Are
mini
they
fridge
Chinese?
kit. So I'm wondering.
It's a refrigerator.
So I'm wondering how much they are because I've seen some that small, and I'm like,
Mine is
there's
bigger.
just little things that I'm like, you know what? I
His is
saw like a
big.
cell phone holder that like it's like a ring you put on your finger so you can just clip your phone here and scroll. I'm like, it's something stupid, but I would totally use that. Or like the little the BB shooter
So do you
that I
see?
see.
He 3D printed the holder for the phaser. So this phaser, you know, this
Didn't
is
have a holder,
This is Kirk's
and now
phaser.
it has one.
Now it has a stand.
Don't pull that trigger. I don't want you to have a hole in your studio.
This is real. I got it set to stun though.
I did notice one thing because I just watched a clip of Picard. They went back to using phased pistols that are not lasers. They actually just shoot
Lasers?
like bullets, but they're laser bullets.
Sherry was
I just noticed
asking if we have time to put on our technically unsound hats.
Sure. What's your question?
Asketh and we shall answereth. We'll try. Oh, by the way, I want to give a quick shout out to the Going Rounds podcast. Our podcast brother, Big E.
Brother.
Yes. So be sure to check out the Going Rounds podcast on YouTube. He goes live every Thursday night. Sometimes he goes live on Sundays, and sometimes he goes live on Saturdays during watch parties. He went live last night. He had a 4-man crew in his studio.
Nice.
Yeah, so he did a big one last night. Got some good views. So be sure to check out the Going Rounds podcast wherever you do your podcast watching. Here's what Sherry says. We're in troubleshooting mode. For no obvious reason, the external monitor from my personal laptop is saying no signal. I've checked the cables. I've rebooted. I've checked drivers. What else can I do?
Turn off your laptop.
She
Power it
rebooted
off.
already.
I didn't say turn it back on. I said turn it off.
Leave it off and see what happens.
Turn it off and turn off the power cord to your monitor. Disconnect the HDMI cable from both the monitor and the laptop. Unplug the power cord to your monitor and press and hold the power button down on the monitor.
Oh, hard reboot.
For about 30 seconds.
Hard.
Then flip the
reboot.
HDMI cable or DVI cable around if it's flippable and reconnect it and then turn everything back on.
Is that in case it's carrying any static or anything?
Holy shit. Holy shit. Someone finally got it. Like someone finally made that connection. So it used to be called a static discharge.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And it's what it happens is
I feel
HDMI
good.
cables, if you don't have a good shielding. So HDMI cables work out of the box, just out of the box, but they're not always rated for the monitor that you have. So sometimes your HDMI cable will pick up a charge and it puts it on the monitor and it just stops sending back the signal. So the only way to stop it is you can usually just unplug the HDMI cable, let it sit for 5 minutes or so, and then sometimes it'll get rid of it. But if it's been connected for a really long time, it's faster just to flip it around, flip the ends around, and reverse the polarity of the signal. Very Star Trek-ish.
Fascinating.
And it clears it up. And I used to get
Trek
in
family.
so much shit.
We can do
'Cause I
more
used
than
to do
talk
that.
about Trek.
Man.
We can fix your technical problems.
I used to get so much shit when I worked at MCI for doing that because it wasn't an approved HP procedure. But then I started doing it. I heard one other person do it, and then I started doing it just out of I couldn't figure out how to get this guy's monitor back up, and I wasn't going to roll a truck. And so I did it, and it fixed it. And then I did another one, and it fixed it. And then every time I did it, it worked. And every time I didn't do it, I would have to roll a truck. And all they would end up doing is replacing the monitor and replacing the HDMI cable. And it always worked. And that carried over to me working at the cable company 20 some odd years later, as the same thing happens with DVRs and cable boxes. And then somebody was like, that's some bullshit. And then it happened with my Xbox. I just lost signal. And sure as shit, I turned off the TV, held the power button, flipped the cable around, and it worked. It worked for about 2-3 months, and then it happened again. I flipped it around again, and it worked. I then was like, fuck it. Went to, it's not amazing. It was a high-end electronics store up off Gilbert, over by where you used to live, Tom.
Radio Shack?
No. And I want to say Amazing Electronics, but that wasn't it. But I ended up buying a monster gold-plated HDMI cable for like $40, and I'm still using it today on my new Xbox. Never happened again. And I still have the same TV that it originally happened on.
If what he's telling you doesn't work, try this. Take that cable and plug it into your TV. Because if it works when you plug it into your TV, that'll most likely tell you that your monitor could be bad. If it doesn't work when you plug it into your TV, that doesn't tell you anything, because you could still have a bad cable and you could still have a bad monitor port on your laptop. So try a couple things. Try what Mgyx says and then try a couple other things that we threw out there. But thanks for the question. We appreciate you. Allies. We're allies to people with technical problems.
Peace.
Technical problem.
All right. So what do you
PBG,
are you going to watch?
Not been watching any Star
you
Trek?
ain't
at all?
watching. Why aren't you watching any Star Trek?
I will.
right.
I will.
Well, what are you doing with
Voyager.
all your time?
Working. Kids are. I work in a maintenance department for a school district, and the kids are gone, so I'm doing it to it. So
Till 5. Then what?
till 3. Then I go home. I turn the TV on, and next thing I
Have you tried 3D printing a sleep apnea mask? If you're snoring like that, you may want to do that.
We gotta put aside our differences.
ching chong, ching chong, ching chong.
Chimichanga.
Tom, you're still.
Well, I'm doing Enterprise. I'm almost done with Enterprise. I'm on like season 4, episode 4. So I'm almost done there. I'm in the home stretch for Enterprise, but I am trying to jump back into some DS9.
Okay.
So
I'm on the DS9 and
committed to DS9. That's it.
So what now?
So you're just doing DS9. What are you going to do? What are you going to watch, PBG?
You know what? I'm thinking of Strange New Worlds to get ready for the next season.
What are you going to do? Rewatch season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already done that. I did that in one day.
Yeah. I mean, because there are only 10 episodes.
So I did that in one day, and I think I rewatched season 2. I think I need to go back and watch season 1. Because I keep getting these clips from season 1 that I don't.
Season
quite
1's kind
remember.
of weird because isn't that the one where he keeps foreshadowing his death or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I am on. Where is my DS9 at? I'm on season 3, episode 17 at DS9.
Damn. I think I'm on season 1, episode 15.
So it's just getting into the Dominion War. Yeah, this Kai Wen chick, I just want to kick her in the throat. I don't like her at all. But I'm thinking about. I could stop watching DS9 right now and hop into Strange New Worlds or Picard just to get some newness, get some 1080p in my life, get some 16 by 9
full screen.
Yeah, get some 16
not
by 9.
have black bars on the side of your TV. Yeah.
I could definitely do that, and I think I may hop it. Wait, is Enterprise 4x3?
Yes.
Or is this?
I think it is.
Fuck.
I don't remember.
You could
Aren't
stretch
you
your
watching
screen.
it?
Yeah, but I don't remember if it takes the full screen.
Man, I feel old as shit, but I'm kind of over the old shows. I'm kind of like, I want to get some newness in with new, crisp, clear.
Well, you could watch
1080p
Discovery, Picard.
I could. Discovery, Picard, Strange
Lower
New
Decks.
World. Definitely Lower Decks. Outside of that, I'm thinking about maybe my next watch may be outside of the Star Trek realm. So Crewman Cherry, I may be.
What?
I've been getting a lot of Katie Sackhoff podcast clips, and I'm like,
She wants to
man,
be in Star Trek.
I either want to go to the Mandalorian or the Star Wars because I haven't watched a lot of those.
There is Andor season 2. Have you watched that?
I haven't watched. Nope, haven't watched that. Didn't watch the Bad Batch.
By the way, Ballerina, the new John Wick spinoff, is getting excellent reviews.
Thinking about hopping over to Battlestar. And trying watching some new Battlestar Galactica. Because now that everything is out, I may actually. There's some Battlestar Galactica I didn't watch, which is the prequel show.
Never heard of it.
You never
What's
heard
it
of
called?
Battlestar Galactica?
No, I've never heard of the prequel. Is it called
Caprica.
Space 1999?
The summary
No,
show.
it's called Caprica.
Oh, okay.
But I may also hop. I also may hop over to the Orville
Oh yeah.
just to get some comedy in my life.
Okay. Well, Strange New Worlds are going to give you comedy on the 17th of July.
That is over a month away. That's a little far, and I may be busy. Mom's supposed to be coming home around the 20th. So.
Wait, she ain't home right now?
No, dude, she's been in the rehabilitation. She
Damn,
went
dude.
from the emergency room to the hospital to the rehab center. She broke her pelvis. You don't get to go home from that. Not at her age.
I don't know how things go.
Dude, think of any time your brother broke one of your G.I. Joes at the crotch. That's what happened to her. So.
You had G.I. Joes?
KS was not my favorite female.
Sack-off
Oh.
on Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, Trisha Helfer
Galactica.
was every young man's go-to on that show. But Katie Sackhoff played a great Starbuck for not being the traditional Starbuck. That's just my opinion. Her attitude and everything made up for the fact that, one, they changed the gender from being Dirk Benedict to her. But I think she definitely made up for it with her attitude and everything else.
Definitely. She held
As
her
far
own.
as
Yeah.
as far as looks wise, Trisha Helfer, that I'm surprised there was not more Playboy, cover sheets or any of that done with her in that red dress. Like, that was just banging. So there were a couple of ones that could make, that were some head turners if it wasn't a futuristic apocalyptic scenario. Like, Boomer looks good outside of, her flight suit. But, you never really got to ever see that. So, I may hop over to some Battlestar or just jump straight ahead and try rewatching Picard. I think I may rewatch Picard because I'm getting clips and I'm seeing things
but you don't
that
remember?
we're talking about. One that we don't remember and that are bringing up plot points. Like, we talked about the giant Spock.
Yeah.
So the giant Spock is or I was like, hey, where's giant Spock at? Well, he showed up in Lower Decks as a skeleton hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
So there's some of those things. I may hop into Picard to see whatever else. But they mentioned the whole fact of Data, and that Data was the 5th iteration of Dr. Soong, and that he created Data's mother based on his wife and never told her she was an android. So
Damn.
if Data survived up until the point of Picard, why didn't Data's mom survive? Because he could have, and she had emotion and everything else. So if she's possibly alive or her body is somewhere, they could have done the
Watch
same
that
thing
cord
with
right
her.
there.
That they do. I mean, watch the circulation in your
But
shorts.
you're gonna watch Picard to try to remember that. I don't know if they bring it
No.
up in Picard.
They don't, but there's a couple of things like the Vat Galage.
Yeah.
Like, the witches. I didn't get that in the beginning when I watched it the first
Right.
time. I didn't get who they were, what they were, but now that I've seen Discovery, I get what they are now. So
Okay.
just little things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna keep plowing through Enterprise to try to finish up the whole Enterprise. I think I've already seen the last one with Riker doing his holodeck thing, but I'm gonna work my way through it. You know, I did have one thing to bring up about Enterprise. I don't think T'Pol wants to be with Trip. I think she wants to be with Archer. Like, after watching all of Enterprise that I'm up to at this point, now into season 4, almost at the end, I think T'Pol loves Archer. And I think Trip is just the next best thing.
I think T'Pol loves Archer the same way that Deanna loves John Luke. or that what was the other chick from Picard? Riley?
Oh, his housekeeper lady?
No, the black chick.
Oh, Raffi.
Raffi. The same way Raffi loves JLP. I think that's the same way T'Pol feels about JLP. I think she loves his professionalism.
I don't know.
She's
No,
loyal.
I think because remember
loyal
that episode of Enterprise where he's got that brain virus and T'Pol drops everything to take care of him.
Right.
And that's where she had that. She did that long hair thing. She was looking kind of good.
Wait, how much? You know who dies in Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to. The only reason why she did that is because he's dead. The one that she wants to be with is dead, so she resorts to the next thing as her father figure, which is Archer. That's why I think she feels responsible for how he got there.
I don't know.
But that ties directly into
because
the whole,
every time like Archer was thought dead and he comes back, T'Pol's like in tears. I just feel like she's traumatized when things happen to Archer. But like that, when that whole thing happened with Trip, like when Trip gets into problems and he, like he's in danger, I don't feel like T'Pol shows that much emotion. But whenever there's a problem with Archer, I think T'Pol just loses it. Like she starts getting like she's about to cry, except she's a Vulcan, so she tries not to cry.
Because she says it multiple times, the ship needs you as the captain. She always goes back to that, it has to be you. Which leads me to believe that Vulcans definitely time travel. Because she always says, you have to be the one to do this. The ship needs you. Starfleet needs you to do it. Kind of like saying, Pike, you have to do this, and you have to die because of this.
So you don't think T'Pol loves Archer?
She
in
loves
a
him
romantic
as a father
way.
Figure. No, not in a romantic way.
I think she wants to
No.
be with him.
Hell no.
I think T'Pol is in love with Archer, and she's settling for Trip. Because Trip's the only one that'll come and do neuro massage with her.
I don't know.
You know what? If Archer stepped in there and said, "Hey, I want to get a neuro massage,"
She would do so because
the
she's the
nerves
captain.
on my Johnson are feeling a little.
She would do it because he's the captain.
No,
but I don't think T'Pol's romantically interested in Archer.
She got feelings.
I don't think so.
I know, not at the beginning, but maybe.
Well, she ain't got no feelings for anybody at the beginning.
Yeah. It was.
What was that, dude? What'd you drop?
Plus, she can't because he's got the dog, and she hates the dog.
Get it later.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the dog stinks really bad.
Right,
well, so do the humans.
We go into chat to find out, does T'Pol want to be with Archer romantically? I'm gonna say he does. In the comments, you guys put what you think. Does T'Pol romantically want to be with Archer? And I think she's only with Trip because that's all that's available. Archer is not like romantically available for her. That's all I'm saying.
I'm upset that we did not get to see Hoshi and Travis hook up. That should have been a hookup.
You talking about the black dude?
Yeah, I can see that.
Were they trying to be romantic?
That was open. There was always a little side eye, a little hey, how you doing, Miss Park type thing going on, but and he's shy.
That whole black dude and Asian trope. Come on, man, get off that.
No, I don't think there was a lot of character development with those two. I mean,
I don't think it got developed into it much because
they didn't Travis didn't get no development. They just made him look like a dummy.
No, Travis guy had the storylines with his parents and the boomers.
He had one episode. Him and his brother had that falling out when he went to go be on that ship with his family.
Yeah.
His brother was mad that he left to go be in Starfleet.
Right.
You left the family business. We don't want your enhancements on our cargo ship or whatever. Because remember, Travis was doing all those
Travis
fixes.
like, well, I could do
upgrades and stuff.
Yeah.
Get you this new firmware.
I definitely think that that could have been a good storyline.
Romance between Hoshi and Travis?
Hoshi and Travis, yeah.
Well, Travis needed to have some more focus on them though. Yeah. Hoshi, I think, had some focus.
But
she
then
had
Travis
her Beauty and the
did have
Beast
that
episode.
other chick that came in towards the end that was a reporter. He had that, but that was from way back. Hoshi could have been like, yo, let me teach you some new things that little girl couldn't show you.
Ching chong ching chong ching ching chong ching chong ching.
I'm not pulling my own personal experience out of that, but I'm just saying. Hoshi could have, let me teach you some languages.
Let me teach you the language of gobble gobble.
I mean, but the fucked up part is they had that episode where they meet their where they meet their descendants, and Malcolm ain't got nobody.
That's sad.
Yeah. That was like, God damn.
I know, and they should have known it, but they still ask him like, "Oh, did you get to meet your people?" And he's like, "I had no people."
Yeah, he was like, he's like, the whatever line ends with me. I'm like, damn, dude.
That was sad.
Yeah, it was his birthday, and they try to figure out his favorite stuff with cake or whatever.
The carrot cake or whatever, or pineapple cake. I was like, that seemed like a dumb ass episode.
I wonder if he was gay. He seemed like he was attracted to Trip.
Maybe.
They were best buds.
And he was really like infatuated with Major Hayes for a while.
I didn't.
I mean, that was jealousy thing
until that guy died. But I don't know if it was just jealousy. I feel like he got a little too emotional about the dude.
It's very possible.
And then when he died, he was like really like shook.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I didn't like his character that much.
Malcolm, yeah.
He just
I think if they had fleshed him out some more and did some more militaristic things, like the whole, when he started coming up with we need an alert of some sort to have all this happen at once.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. But the whole jealousy thing with Major Hayes, that was kind of like, all right, come on, dude. Why are you getting jealous?
Who's his bigger, you know?
Yeah. So,
I mean, that is a legitimate gripe, though. Your security on the spaceship and one's a attack force, or
but your rank is higher, so there's really no question. I mean, it's just rank is rank.
I think
it's not even rank though. It's two different sections.
Yeah.
You have command level. Hey, I'm in charge of security on the ship, whatever, and you have no control on board unless you're called in. Literally like military styles. Like
have humans really evolved by then?
All right, so it's kind of like having military. Or it's having the military and police.
Yeah.
The military is Hayes was the quick reaction force. All right, we have an away mission. We need security detail. That's your job.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the ship. We got an invasion of people. That's Malcolm's job. So that's why I was like, why are you two even fighting out? But then Archer was like, well, we're going to have Hayes do his stuff on the ship. And Malcolm's like, yo, that's my department. This is my area. And away mission, send that fucker down. But that's what it came down to, is that Archer pushed that button.
Yep.
I think that's what started.
No, I mean, he definitely did not take. He didn't. Archer probably fueled that fire. Archer could have handled it, but he was Archer. He's incompetent. But all right, we're gonna wrap up because I gotta take Crewman Patty to the airport early in the morning.
How early in the morning?
Transporters broke?
Yeah. I don't remember. I gotta check. I gotta find out what time I gotta find out what time their flight is. But they going to like Rome or something. They flying to Rome
and Greece.
Yeah. So they going worldwide, Mr. Worldwide. So, but I do got we did spend some time in the studio, so we got some more shorts coming out with Crewman Patty, and I appreciate everybody watching those shorts. They're getting some good views. Again, thanks everybody to watching. Our last episode did really well. So hopefully, we can keep everybody entertained, keep the energy going. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed.
Pure energy.
Yeah, we're just going to try to keep it going. I mean, we're having fun here talking about what we love, and hopefully we can entertain you guys. So we'll just keep it going.
Yeah.
Should we make that a new segment, by the way?
Keep it going.
MDK, Mary Death Co.
No, not with Whoopi at least.
No, but I'm saying there's plenty of others.
Well, if there's an opportunity to come up with something where I put 3 people in a Guess Who or something, we'll see.
But you're not going to go out of the way to be like, hey, let me pick 3 random.
Hey, it could happen. It could happen, but it's very rare where there's 3 girls Star Trek related in a picture.
Yeah, you Photoshop it, dude.
Oh, and we don't do AI here. We real. Crewman Patty is real, by the way. All right, we're going to take a break and catch you guys next week, Sunday night, same bat time and bat channel.
Like,
Batman.
subscribe, and share.
Yes, tell all your homies.
Or you will be assimilated by the Borg.
Absolutely.
The Borg.
All right, we out of here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Check later.
Nanu.
And new.